Hi, thanks for tuning in. I am a victim of emotional abuse. I was married to a narcissist for 24 years, and I didn't realize that I was a victim until I had completely severed ties with him and I was in therapy. And in speaking to my therapist and explaining my situation, she started to give me feedback and went on to say something along the lines of, well, as a victim. And I looked around the room and thought, surely she can't be speaking of me, about me. I never, ever in my life thought of myself as a victim. I knew I had been emotionally neglected. I considered myself emotionally starved. I didn't realize that it was emotional abuse until I was completely outside of it. And I think mainly because it's not something that's talked about. So many other things are spoken of widely and recognized, but not emotional abuse. And this is a real thing. And it occurred to me that because you don't walk around bruised and battered and it's not visible, people aren't aware of it. And as I began to educate myself, I realized that people don't care. There's some very harsh words when you start to read about narcissism and when you start to read about emotional abuse. And a lot of them say over and over that there's a lot of self-healing. You need to see a therapist. You need to see a professional. You need to discuss what went on and what your feelings are, obviously. But for the most part, people don't care. And that's a hard pill to swallow, I think, being on the receiving end of that. It's a difficult thing to recognize yourself as a victim, I think. I'm a mother. I'm a businesswoman. And I've considered myself to be very strong, very outgoing. I'm always optimistic. And I think that's what held me together. That's what made me believe I could fix my marriage, made me believe that I could overcome the obstacles that I was dealing with. And I knew something was wrong. But again, just was not familiar enough with this issue to know that I just needed to get out. I simply needed to get out. And a lot of things had to happen in order for me to finally find the courage to just leave. There was quite a series of events culminating with losing my father. And that's when my life changed. That's when I realized life is very short. That's when I realized I could no longer be with somebody who smothered all of my happiness, smothered all of my emotions, was dismissive and uncaring and heartless. All the things that you read about a narcissist. And he is textbook. And I'm astonished that I had to remove myself from that situation completely in order to recognize it, in order to see it. And that's what emotional abuse is. While you're in it, you are so completely manipulated, you don't see it happening. You don't see what's going on around you, especially if you are someone who is empathetic. You're going to try to fix things. You're going to do your best to stay in it and fix it. You're going to fix it for your kids. You're going to fix it for your marriage. You're going to fix it because you took vows. You're going to fix it for your parents. You're going to fix it for everybody because you think that's what you need to do. And ultimately, you're worrying about everyone else's feelings but your own. And no one's worrying about yours, including the person who's abusing you. And Had I spoken to someone sooner, had I understood it, maybe I would have felt differently about it. We did go to counselors. We did see marriage counselors. That was all three. And then another fourth right at the end. They were all a disaster. I'll get into those later. These things are important. It's important to hear these things. It's important to know that people go through this, that if you are experiencing this, you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. And that if you are experiencing it, you need to recognize it. And you need to remove yourself. My quality of life, my mental and physical health improved drastically when I finally left. He tried to torment me over the phone, texting, calling, whatever he could do to continue to manipulate me. And I felt an obligation to have some communication because we were married for 24 years, because we had children together. And finally, everyone around me, including my therapist, said, enough is enough. This has to stop. Don't do this to yourself anymore. Don't put yourself through this anymore. Don't expose yourself to it anymore. And as soon as I stopped completely, as soon as the ties were severed completely, everything changed. Day by day, I was just happier every single day that I was away from him, because he was no longer manipulating me. He was no longer berating me and just filling my head, my mind, my life with negativity. And so that's the first step. That is truly the first step, to sever yourself completely. That's a must. And from that point on, it's help, seeing a good therapist, seeing a good counselor, seeing someone who's knowledgeable in dealing with someone who's been emotionally abused, and reaching out to the people that you maybe didn't think cared, you maybe thought you had lost in all those years of isolation and control. Reach out to those people. They do care. They really do. It's just a matter of taking the help that's being offered and going to the people in your life that love you. I hope that in creating this channel, I can be a resource. I'm still going through my own recovery, if you will. It's going to take a long time. When you've been emotionally abused, it's as though you have to be reprogrammed. All of that damage has to get undone. And depending on who you are and your personality and your will, we're all in a different place. And I'm fortunate to have a lot of love and support in my life, getting me through this. But every day there's some sort of struggle. Every day you deal with what they refer to as invasive thoughts, and you learn to deal with those things. You learn to control them. You learn to distract yourself from them, and you learn little by little to be more positive and to realize that you weren't the one with the problem. You really aren't that bad, that you're not this bad person that this abuser made you out to be. And it takes work, and it takes support. And so I hope that in creating this channel and offering my story, however long or short it may be, that I can help, that I can do some good, and that we start talking about emotional abuse. We really need to start talking about it. It's real.